First name, last name, Houston. More stories, by the way. Let's go New Jersey Blue Devils. I mean, you guys could be in New Jersey, over there, being all New Jersey-fied, rooting for your Blue Devils. But I have to be over here rooting for our very large mollusks. And go very large mollusks. Martin Weiss, what are your 3 favorite rants you had on your show? Martin's stir the pot today in the pre-show yickety yaks there. I don't know if I have a favorite rant. I've gone on a few of them, but there are some rants I go on and I get the comments where like, "Oh, I'm never watching your show again," and I always see them pop up back in the chat. But I do sometimes get messages from folks. And I may have never heard from them before. They may be the first time they ever bothered. They never comment. They just passively listen to the show or whatever. But I'll get like a DM and it will just be like, "Hey, I'm a black lesbian woman and I never get to hear someone like you stand up for me." And like, I don't know how to like respond other than just be like, "Okay." But I do believe that what privilege I have in this life, that I have a duty to spend it trying to fight for those who don't have that same privilege. If I were a cajillionaire right now, if I were worth cajillions of dollars and owned, I don't know, a space company and a large car company and large media platform, I wouldn't be spending my money and privilege trying to destroy the lives of an already maligned minority of people. Whether it's based on their race, ethnicity, religion, orientation, gender, like having that much privilege and then using it to ruin the lives of people who don't is just a shitty way to live. And I would hope that if I had such financial power, that I would use that to be a good person. I know absolute power corrupts absolute and all that, but like, why can't you be nice? Like, you've got $200 billion. Be nice. Don't be a dick. Maybe your kids will talk to you again. So I don't know. I think my favorite rants are exposing bigotry and showing people that don't necessarily know they have friends that they got a friend in me. That's my favorites. Fabrizio Plop. Will ICANN be forced to close a short position on GME? Eventually. I mean, I wonder, and I've expanded on this before as a thought experiment. Like, ICANN's short position is like $700 million, something like that. That, he can easily come up with the cash, buy enough call options that when he does try to close, he makes money off the deal. All right, he can close slowly here and there, and then he'll be losing. Or he can just try to close all at once, rocket those call options, and make a freaking fortune. And basically use those calls to close out his positions at the same time. That would be the way that I would try to do it if I were Carl Icahn, or anyone else who is stuck in a short position on this. But a lot of people who are stuck in short positions on this don't have the cash to buy a bunch of, call options that can my brain just farted so hard, monkey. Exercise. That's the word I'm looking for. It's going to be call options to get exercised. Fabrizio, when is Fed meeting? Well, is it Thursday they would talk about, or is it next Thursday they talk about if they raise interest rates? I have a feeling they're going to raise interest rates again. They are getting stuck between this, like, do we save the banks or do we take on inflation? And at this point, you're gonna have to keep sacrificing banks if you want inflation to go away. So If I were the president of a regional bank right now, I'd be like, oh my God, I've been trying to get out as much money as I can because I'm going to be forced to retirement. And that's probably what's happening at a lot of those places. Kelrus, happy birthday. With the risk of setting off a rant, any thoughts on inviting Thunderfoot? Could be interesting chat about new technology, future energy. You can always bond over Elon Musk. I don't know who Thunderfoot is. Thunderfoot? Let's see here. Thunderfoot. Oh, there's like 12,000 there Thunderfoots. I click on that one. I don't know Thunderfoot. But he is making fun of Elon Musk a bunch, so we probably would bond over that. So, all right, I'll look into them. Okay. Well, it's funny. I got into a online spat. I was pointing out on someone's post the Stone Man of Portland. He was talking about what a disaster the Starship launch was, and the Elon claims that in like a month or two we'll have the pad rebuilt and we'll be able to launch again. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen. You turned your current pad into a crater. It sent chunks of concrete into your rocket and destroyed at least 9 engines. It also pierced the tanks at your fuel storage facility, and you sent pieces of concrete upwards of a mile away, and you started a 3.5 acre fire and then coated a very delicate marine environment and bird sanctuary in fine concrete dust, which is raising the pH levels of the water to the point it's going to kill all the creatures that live there. It's like, there's no way that you're going to get this thing done in a year because of the EPA and FAA investigations. And FAA halted all launches and while they investigate. Investigation is obvious. They were too cheap and built a crappy pad. And that crappy pad got destroyed. That's it. And it destroyed everything else along with it. You can't have a reusable rocket if you don't have a reusable pad. And if you're trying to save money on your rocket pad, by doing it the cheap way, you're going to keep spending money having to make it again and again and again, which no longer saves money. Now, Elon Musk in 2020 overruled his engineers and said, well, we will have no flame diverter and no deluge. The deluge is this giant jet of water they pump into the bottom of the rocket so that all that energy gets turned into steam, which is why when you see like the space shuttle launch and stuff, you'd see these giant white clouds come up. That's steam being formed out of the deluge. And then you have a flame diverter, so it pumps the thrust of the rocket to in a specific direction, so that you don't blast out all the concrete and send it a mile into the ocean. Anyway, Elon's like, well, I overruled them. We're gonna just do a concrete pad. Might backfire. Yeah, literally did. Literally did backfire. Like, literal backfire happened. And so. Anyway, I pointed this out, that this is going to take a long time, and this dude, he was like, you're a stupid idiot, I bet you're an arts major. I was like, no, I'm an astrophysicist, and I've got a degree in mission planning, like rocket science, dude. And this is, we've known for 70 years how to build a rocket pad, and they ignored that 70 years. He's like, oh no, they're just, it's what Tesla, what Elon does, SpaceX does, is that, they break stuff and they find out answers and how to fix it. I'm like, you don't spend millions or billions of dollars redoing an experiment that we had an answer to in 1961, right? Like, you just don't do that. You build the best thing you possibly can, because people are going to go in this thing. Lots of people are going to go in this thing, and you want to make sure that when you launch the rocket, as many of the engines work as possible in a controlled environment, so when it launches and any of them flame out, you can study the data as to why they flamed out, whether it was engineering or design or manufacturing process that caused it to happen. Not, we launched this thing, we plunged human-sized chunks of concrete into the bell housings of the rockets at the speed of sound, and now we have no data as to if our engineering worked or not, because we did not have a control for the environment. So this dude was he was saying I was a big fat liar. I know what I was talking about, whatever. And I posted a picture of my wall of diplomas, which I don't know if can you see? You can't quite see, can you? They're not high enough. If I can do this, maybe. The wall, I can't quite lean it back, but there's just a wall of astronomy and physics and space studies diplomas and things up there from my years of education. And now I can't get the camera back onto the thing. Monkey. Oh shit. No, you fell out. That's not supposed to happen. That's because I was turning the wrong knob. Dang it, monkey. I am so bad at this. Okay, so I gotta screw that back in so it holds. And then the camera will keep bouncing around. And I gotta go like this. There we go. Okay. Rock steady. Back on the cat / monkey butt head. Everything's good. Anyway, the internet blew up. They loved the diplomas. Guys like, prove it. And then I can't screw a camera in, so, you know, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. But anyway, if you don't, if your R&D department doesn't have an R on it, like research development, if you aren't doing the research and like cracking open a textbook that describes how to engineer launch pads, because for 80 years now, we've been launching rockets all over the world, and we know what a giant amount of thrust and heat can do to concrete. It's just so dumb. So dumb. Okay. William Morgan, Houston. Isn't Houston is able to appear today. This place will appear computer-generated AI. He apologized for this and hopes you understand constipation with diarrhea isn't a laughing matter. Hey, constipation and diarrhea is what the Fed's doing right now. On one side, you've got shitting too much. On the other is not shitting at all. Let's do both. Bill Cohen, Houston. Any ideas about GME shorts being forced to cover? Need a new pair of sneakers. You and me both, brother.